The real survival challenge after the fourth turning or Teowaki, whichever comes first. You're not going to be able to see it. You won't see the real survival challenge. But just show you this footlocker right here. This is a Korean War footlocker. And it's an improvement over the World War II footlocker. This has got metal grab handles. And you know, the original type of footlocker had leather straps on the side, right there. So I've got the World War II, the Korean War, and those are the footlockers I have right now. But I was gonna plant onions and potatoes, but the weather, it rained Friday and it rained Saturday, and today's Sunday, so I just don't feel like going out there in the mud. So I figured I'd just make this video right here and talk about the real survival challenge after Teowaki, or when Teowaki starts, or the fourth turning ends. So you're not going to be able to see what comes to get you. It's going to be either a virus or the plague. Call it the Black Death. See that right there? The Black Death. There was a plague, the bubonic plague, which is what the Black Death is. It hit San Francisco in 1900. It lasted about 9 years, and it escaped into the actual bacteria escaped into the mountains, and it's over there at it's in Colorado now, the Rocky Mountains. It escaped through the squirrels. It got away from San Francisco, but so these 3 books it's really good to get an understanding of how these viruses and plagues work. Influenza, that's the they call it the Spanish flu, but it's the H1N1 virus, and between the influenza and the bubonic plague, those are going to be the top, historically, throughout history, those were the top hundreds of millions that accounted for hundreds of millions of deaths throughout our history. And right around 1900, I think there was 1 billion people on the planet in 1901, 1 billion people on the planet. And these 2 viruses, this virus, the influenza, and the plague, accounted for a big chunk of the world's population disappearing throughout history. I think Daniel Defoe wrote a book on it called The Plague Year, or The Plague Years. And sometime around 1600, somewhere around there. But a lot of people think he just took the notes from his father, who took notes on the whole chain of events that took place there. But let's get back into this. How to avoid it, and maybe even defeat it. If there's no scientific community available. So this is a good book to read because it tells you how the viruses work. It talks about the science behind it, how they survive. And if you really think about it, if I get this picture right, that's It's Henry Welch. The first. It's when the microscope came out. Did a lot of work with the microscope. Okay. And talks about the doctors that pioneered the discovery in the way to fight these microscopic organisms. And in the old days, they put you in they call them sanitariums, where you basically went to die. Look at that. Created mass graves to bury all these people. So many died. Just lined them up and put them in. You always hear about this barbaric way of the mass graves. They originally came about to deal with all these people dying, figuring out a way to bury them. They talk about how the virus and bacteria spreads. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. But the microscope was very important. So you might want to have a microscope in your survival plan. But anyways, so this talks about how this talks about how this low-level organism, which is still around, survives throughout the centuries. Okay, this is the flu, and this is the bacteria. It talks about how bacteria survive. Okay, and also talks about the politics. And this right here is about money. This whole thing's about money. It also talks about how vaccines are developed, but it's about money. And, the big pharmaceutical companies, they want you sick. They don't really care about you. They act like they do, but maybe they do, but maybe they do. But the point is this: when all that's gone, you've got to figure out how to fight something you can't see that wants you gone. Okay? So it's kind of weird, isn't it? Something that you can't see is going to get rid of you in the future. Right now, the people that have the vaccines, they're safe. But once people start getting born again, right after the Teotihuacan event, and you don't have a medical system in place to learn how to fight this, it's going to start out all over again from the very beginning, the primitive ways. And this right here, having this knowledge, will give you a head start on methods of prevention and fighting the disease. How these, like sulfanilamide, how these vaccines and medicines came about. You'll learn about all that by reading this stuff right here. All right. Hope you all got something out of this video. A little bored today, so I figured I'd just make a video that, maybe someone will find important. See y'all later.